Are you about to graduate law school and are stressed about the upcoming bar exam? I know we've all been there before, and I still get PTSD thinking about the bar exam.
I sense much fear in you.
Well, in today's video, I'll be breaking down whether or not you should invest into a tutor. Short answer, I personally don't think that you should get a bar prep tutor unless you failed the first time. Long answer, here's why. As a first-time taker, you should try to be resourceful as possible and try to save your money. I remember when I was in law school that the commercial bar prep companies would try to find law students to try to be their rep and try to get other students to sign up for their company. And what they would do as an incentive is that they would waive all bar prep fees. So what I would suggest here is that if you're a first-time taker and Kaplan, Barbary, or Themis, or any other commercial bar prep companies allow you the opportunity to be a bar prep rep, then you should do that so that way you can get your fees waived. You really want to try to save money before you even think about investing into a tutor. So if you can try to be as savvy and resourceful as possible by hiring a commercial bar prep company, and if you can get those fees waived, amazing. But if you can't, that's fine. Then loading up on as many good supplemental resources as you can. And then if you still fail after the first time, then you can consider hiring a tutor. In general, I think it's smart for you to wait until you hire a tutor until after you've taken and failed the bar exam the first time. The reason here is because you need to have an actual baseline so your tutor can see your strengths and your weaknesses on the test. One of the only positives of failing the bar exam is that you actually get your books back, which are just the answers that you wrote for that test. And so that way you and your tutor can sit down together and he can examine all your essay answers and you guys can go over what were your strengths and weaknesses. This is a transparent channel and I want to talk about my experience of how I actually hired a bar prep tutor. So I actually failed the bar exam the first time. And so after taking a commercial prep company, I knew that I had to really look into myself and see if I wanted to invest into a tutor. So the reason why I hired a bar prep tutor the second time around was because I didn't want to feel like I was going to do the same exact thing and make the same mistakes after the first time. I hired a commercial bar prep company and I didn't really feel like it was tailored towards my studying habits. So I really wanted someone to kind of hold me accountable and help me through this process. So I was able to have my parents help me out and, help me invest some money into a tutor. So how much did I pay for this tutor? Now, every bar prep tutor is probably gonna range anywhere between $3,000 to $10,000 or maybe more or less. But for my experience, I got lucky because my tutor actually offered me, first it was $5,000 per student, but if I had another student to refer, then he would offer it to me for $4,000. It was even better for me because I was able to meet him in person first and see what his bar prep study schedule would be like, see what his style was like, and see if we actually vibe together. He even offered me split payment. So the first $2,000 wouldn't be due until after the first 2 weeks of just tutoring with him and seeing if our styles meshed together. And then the second payment, the other remaining $2,000, wasn't going to be due until the second month. So I would say that if you're in this position and you can speak to your tutor to make a payment plan, that would be the best. So you don't have to upfront all the money in the beginning just for you to find out that you don't really gel with your tutor. So from my experience, my bar prep tutor didn't hold my hand every single day, but what he did offer were these services. First, he offered a monthly and daily schedule. Second, he offered me his own essay templates. So he actually wrote out all his essay templates for all the California bar subjects that were going to be tested on. Next, he also graded all of my essays that I wrote. I wrote around 2 essays every single day during the 8 weeks, and he actually graded each of those essays. And then finally, what he would offer is we would have at least 1 to 2 phone calls every single week to discuss the essays that I had written and if I had any questions on the multiple choice or any other portion of studying. So I would say not every tutor is going to have these exact type of services, but this is something that you should look for in order for you to be successful with your tutor. Now with other tutors, if you're trying to get 24/7 service and having access to them all the time, then you can probably expect that their fees would be very expensive. I've heard other tutors that specialize in certain areas of the test for example, essay grading, that they charge around $6,000. So the lesson here is be picky, do your online research to see what kind of tutors there are in your area, and I would suggest to meet with them in person because you're gonna end up investing a lot of money into this person, so you wanna make sure that you guys work together well. The point is that you want someone that's going to cater to your weaknesses and make your strengths even better. You want to make sure you're getting your money's worth. However, at the end of the day, you're the test taker, this is your career, and you need to take the test as seriously as you can because the tutor can only take you so far as he can.
Take some responsibility.
Now let's jump into the pros and cons of hiring a tutor. The pros of hiring a tutor are you have someone that holds you accountable and someone that can actually make sure that you're staying on track on your schedule. Your tutor will narrowly tailor your preferences of how you like to study. So if you're a visual learner, or if you are an audio learner, or how you like to study, your tutor will help you. Now, the best part about my tutor giving me a detailed schedule is that I didn't have to think about it twice, and I knew if I just trusted the process that I can get through and pass the bar exam. Other pros of hiring a tutor is that he wrote up my daily schedule for me, he did my monthly schedule, and he graded 2 essays every single day. Now, as a bonus tip for me, my tutor was also kind of like my therapist. You'll be blessed to have the situation, but my tutor was amazing, and I felt like some of the sessions that I had phone calls with him, that it was a purely good venting session for him to like calm me down and be like, hey, snap out of it, wake up, you're gonna be fine. At the end of the day, it's really nice to have someone that's just supporting you the whole way through this entire process. As you know, it can be super, super lonely, so it's nice to have someone in your corner. Now, the cons of hiring a tutor are pretty obvious, that you put 3 times the money into a bar prep tutor as opposed to going through a commercial company. So instead of paying the $2,000 for a bar prep company, you end up paying like 3 times the amount, which is like $6,000, and you still fail. So that's a pretty obvious con, but I think that's to say that's why you need to do your research and you have to put in the work. So again, I highly advise that you do your research and you look into the type of tutors that you know that you'll do well with, and make sure your tutor is trying to cater to your weaknesses and making your strengths even better, because hiring a tutor is really expensive. Now I'm just going to do a quick pros and cons of hiring a commercial bar prep company. Now the pros of hiring a bar prep company are that it's obviously cheaper and more affordable than going the tutor route. And I actually knew a lot of people that ended up taking commercial bar prep companies like Barbary, Kaplan, and Themis that ended up doing just fine and passing their first time. So at the end of the day, it's 100% doable, you just have to put in the work. Now the cons of going through the commercial bar prep route are that it's not narrowly tailored towards each student, but it's tailored towards the average student, which means that these commercial bar prep companies have a one-size-fits-all type of model. So for example, if you are a visual learner, the bar prep company is not going to go out of their way to make materials that are more visual. If you're a visual learner, the bar prep company isn't going to make you graphs or charts or something that makes it easier for you to digest the material. And finally, probably the biggest con of having a commercial bar prep company is that there's just no accountability. If you fall off the schedule, you're off the schedule and you're behind. But that's why I love having a tutor, because that person is holding you accountable each and every single day. Now, if you're still on the fence if you want to invest into a tutor, then check out this video where I explain my detailed bar prep schedule that got me to pass the bar exam.